Yeah, I'm gonna say just find your
Spell
name.
your name. Is it Y or not?
It's Y.
Okay, so you're over here. Oh gosh.
Yeah, this is the 2 Haleys, 2 Aidens, 2 Alexes.
There's one girl.
Oh.
Oh no, 2.
Okay, I'm glad that you guys tell Aiden's different. Perfect, so I didn't hit that. I tried to do last initials. It works. Why don't you guys be the only ones in class today?
What's that?
Why don't you be the only ones today? Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm gonna say just find your name and go to the coordinating
You
table.
are watching. Oh my gosh. I know you didn't believe me when I said I had movies on this thing. I have movies on my thing.
Find your name.
You're done. Good use of
Oh, don't do that. Listen,
I didn't know anything to it.
there. I just have to record me teaching, so just pay no attention to it.
Yeah. Cody Gary.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm never around them. I know. It's so funny seeing like I kind of pinpoint who's a freshman in the hallways, like who's so.
They have scored it yesterday.
Because you're like, guys, I'm just like 2 more periods away. Oh yeah, find your name. This is number 4.
It's not yet.
It looks like I'm not dead yet, so I don't think it's one. Noah almost died.
Yeah.
Say,
Very icy, and then it just pops. I'm like, oh. What did you do?
Yeah, you should.
I was gonna say hi. Oh no.
yeah, I would say, find your name. You are number 3.
Hey, Riley, my guy.
Alright guys, so I'm going to get us all started because we're doing stations today and they do take a minute to get through. Alrighty. So, starting off with your bell ringer, all you're going to do for that is take the thesis statement that you should have ready for today and just have that be your answer for your bell ringer, trying to keep it easy. So take a minute to just write that down. Alright, and then we're going to be doing some stations to get you all ready for your speech that's coming up. And then there's going to be a short little exit ticket as well. Okay? Alrighty, and while you guys are getting your bell ringer done, I'm just going to go over the stations since you're just copy and pasting that thesis statement, okay? So as you can see, you're sitting at tables with a number on them. Over here is station 1, where you're going to be doing an ed puzzle. This ed puzzle is focused on public speaking. There's some embedded questions. Answer those. Keep mind of what you learned because it's going to help you with your exit ticket later. And then number 2, we have outlining. Your outlines will be found on Google Classroom as well as the ed puzzles. This, you're just going to be filling that out and so forth. Really pay attention when you're doing your outlines to the introduction, getting that good attention grabber, making sure your thesis is good, you have your audience, things like that. Station number 3 is another ed puzzle. This one, however, is on speech writing and the process that goes into it. Same deal, there's going to be some questions, answer those. Pay attention to what's actually going on because it'll help you answer your exit ticket. And then station number 4 is just, you're going to be meeting with me. We're going to go over what your thesis is. If you need help finalizing a thesis or a topic, I will help you out there as well and go over possible counter arguments. Alrighty. Is there any questions on what you're doing in the stations? There should also be directions underneath, like if you unfold your number, there's some directions if you get some like questions, okay? Not for number 4 because I'm with you guys, I know. Okay, so you're gonna get about 8 minutes to complete each station. When that time's up, you're just gonna go to the next station, clockwise, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1, and what have you, okay? So, get started on that, and I will start the time. Okay, so, thesis statements. Do you all have? Yes? So I'm gonna start with you, what is your topic?
Nuclear energy,
Okay,
and my thesis statement is nuclear energy is clean energy.
okay, so what are you arguing?
I will be arguing why right now nuclear is a better alternative to coal while we're trying to transition over to more renewable resources due to the ability to properly store nuclear waste much more efficiently than modern, than our contemporary ways of how we're doing so.
Okay, so you're pro nuclear waste being like your new like
Right.
energy
Well,
source?
for a while, until we're able to fully transition over to a more renewable system. It's nuclear, and like, the nuclear waste doesn't go away for a long time, it's find a way to either use it or to store it somewhere safely for a long amount of time.
Right,
If
so
we use it as a buffer, that's where we're going, and that's what I'm gonna be arguing.
perfect, like finding that like
Finding that, happy
balance.
medium.
Yes, so what would you wanna do? Would you wanna place walls to make sure that they are doing what they need to keep it safe, however, still utilizing it to the best benefit of the people?
Yes, I was gonna cover at first the stigma behind, nuclear energy and why we stopped really enforcing it, and by nowadays we've finally come around to figuring out how to properly use it and how to fully use it to our advantage instead of it just being it's gonna be a permanent energy source until we figure out, hey, that nuclear waste isn't going away, and we're gonna have to deal with it.
Okay, do you have any ideas for like evidence, what you're gonna be looking up,
I
because,
have a few papers.
okay, I'm gonna say, that is like, that's a good topic because there's so much research already done on it, you just need to find it and like use it to back your argument. Any possible counter arguments that you like can think of, people just being like nuclear waste is bad because of stigma, so if you address that, you can be like, yes, it's stigmatized, however, like, with the precautions we are enlisting, it'll be safe and it shouldn't be a worry.
Yes.
Is that what you're thinking? Okay, perfect, I'm gonna say, I would start either looking at that research or attacking that counter argument at this moment as like we go on, because addressing the counter argument in a way that's not like just writing in an essay, like there's counter arguments saying this, like you wanna address it in a way that's fluent with like an or thing, okay?
Got it.
Alright, I like that. I'm kinda terrified of nuclear energy, but I'll learn some more, you know what I mean? What thesis do you have?
I did how wealthy people should pay more taxes because of the increase in revenue from these measures would make it easier to like find ideas for like Medicare and stuff.
Okay, so you wanna get heavy taxes, with like richer people, like, let's say like the 1%. Maybe not that specific, but like higher taxes for those with higher pays. And you think it's a good idea because you wanna put into like public works, such as Medicaid.
Yeah,
Is that what you?
sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, well, public works is like you're helping out others because your one topic is Medicaid, Medicare.
And then
There's a
it would help
difference.
the economy go
Economy.
faster too.
Okay, that you definitely, for those two things, you wanna make sure you find your research to back that up. I do believe you need 3 points for each, like for your topic, you're gonna wanna find like another reason why they should be taxed. You could bring in the point that it's like, with them being taxed, yes, it may seem like bad or something like that, cause no one wants to pay taxes, however, it's like, with how much money they're making, it's not gonna make a difference or something like that, like, someone's counter argument is like, why do I have to pay more taxes since I earn my money? So like, definitely, you're gonna wanna think of addressing that, like, it's not gonna be that big of a deal or something like that, because that is like, taxing is like, I don't wanna say a hot ticket right now, but you wanna like, get ready for those counter arguments. So I would take that time now to look that up since you have your thesis and your topic, but yeah. What kind of topic you gotta be?
My thesis was every state in the United States should not have to take standardized tests for graduation.
Okay.
But if like Excel students wanted to
So it's pretty much saying that like, for federal or like just PA?
Just
Federal, that there should be no standardized testing. I will say a counter argument off of that is gonna be like, in the classroom, standardized testing allows for like, well, I guess that's not standardized testing. I like that. What are your reasonings for why they should get rid of them? Like, are there actual benefits to having them?
it's
Or do you have to make that, look up that research right
I
now?
would have to look up a little bit. I know that if you don't pass them, you can't graduate, so you wouldn't be able to do that.
Standardized testing has become really big because of college, more so than anything, like with a job, no one cares about your SATs. I would definitely bring in the mental health factor because the anxiety around standardized testing is astronomical. I think you guys can agree to that. No one wants to do a test. You worry about it for no reason because there's those big stakes like college and like careers. I would look into that, try and find some evidence. Find what I've been where people like look up pros and cons of your topic. Like if you want to get rid of standardized testing, look up the pros and cons of standardized testing. One, because that's evidence, and so you can be like, there are some pros to standardized testing. Like it keeps everyone aligned to the same standard. It keeps teachers in check for like the content that they're teaching and how they're doing so. And then you can bring in those cons as well. Just, that's gonna be very research heavy.
Federal, especially because.
I would start doing that now and really look up like trying to think of like how you can look this up. You know what I mean? Look up why should we ban standardized testing? 'Cause that's gonna bring up articles. Make sure there's not just blogs, like have some like .gov or like CNN or something like that. Not just like random little lady in her house being like, I hate testing. This sucks. So just that heads up for everyone who's like looking some things up. I know you said you have like articles, that's not a problem, but like making sure they're credible sources. Okay. But get that down. I would jot down also those 3 points so you can visualize them and know where you're going to be going. Okay. And then what is your thesis? Do you have one?
Athletes should be required to take G class.
They shouldn't be. So is that gonna be a Central Columbia thing, or is that gonna be for like everywhere? Okay, what are your reasons why?
They're already after enough at the sport. There's no point in having G class in the other. Or staying up to school for the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
I think you can definitely go somewhere with that, coming to the point where you have to have like 3 like supporting ideas / topics. Also guys, we're at like about the 30-second mark, so just a heads up. Look up the advantages of gym and figure out why people do that now, and you can then bring in the exercise part saying, if you just, those who are student athletes, they're already putting in this work with the exercise that is like required by the state. Like you can bring it that way, but you're gonna wanna think more into like the reasons why you shouldn't have gym. And then also like, what are they doing during gym time? Like, do they get study hall? Does it allow them to have more time with their academics because they're spending time after school at sports instead of doing homework? So bring that point in because that's gonna be like definitely a kind of argument, like what are they doing for 45 minutes in school? Well, I guess you schedule for a different class, right? Well, bring that up. Make sure you point that out. Alright guys, so make to your new stations 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4, and then 4 to Okay, so, does everyone here have their thesis statement ready to go, or did you not? You haven't gotten those yet? How are you 3 on thesis statements? Do you have them? You Alright, so before I get to you guys, because you don't have your thesis statement, I'm just gonna run down what yours are, just to like check in and things like that, and then, so what is your thesis statement? Like, what's your topic? Okay, perfect. What are you imposing a law? Oh, sorry, what's?
I was just asking you what it was.
Are you trying to impose a law to help, like, those with mental illness? For awareness? I would be a little hesitant on that, I have to double check, but from my understanding, we're supposed to be, I don't wanna say advocating for a change, we're supposed to be proposing this to get someone to change their mindset. So, maybe put in place something like you're supposed to do to help those, like if you wanna keep, are you going to society as a whole, like this thing against? Cause if that's the way, you could be like, you know, in public works, they can, allow for more, just, you know, hotlines, in school, allow for people to learn about mental illness more, so that there's less of a stigma, things like that, okay? Love it, cause you have a lot you can talk about, a lot of research you can back it up with, but maybe try and turn it to a way that it's like, you're bringing to an audience and having them do a change to help those who are being like, whatever the word's called, dissatisfied, disservice. Thesis statement, topic. Okay, thrower again?
Well, it's like, I'm saying how it's hypocritical.
It should be like taken away. Perfect. Well, that's great, because I know there's just been a couple experiences that just came out of women who had to keep not to be like fetal tissue in them, and the complications that had happened in Texas because of that bill. So, perfect evidence, you can find that. Are you?
It's like,
Yeah, let me steal that real quick. I'm gonna say, so are you, your audience is, I'm assuming, Texas government, like that.
I mean,
Especially if it's like you're talking specifically like this act. Time frame. With the time frame, you can bring in stuff for medical doctors where it's like you can't notice until a certain amount of time. That's great. Different religious standpoints. That's great. You can bring this great research. It goes against the First Amendment. Because of the religion?
yeah, freedom of religion.
Okay.
There's actually someone who's sued against the
Jewish. Oh.
the atheist, and it goes against their religion.
Okay. I'm gonna say, I will say your 2 points with like people having different religious standpoints and it goes against the First Amendment, it's kind of the same thing. Just because First Amendment, right, is freedom of
Yeah, they were bunched together, it's gonna be like that there.
Perfect. I'm gonna say, maybe get another reasoning up, just so you can talk about how it, negatively affects like minority groups, like socioeconomic and.
Because with the first one, I have like, it's also like organ donors and blood. It's technically still a lot.
So, okay, so you can hit that with your, or like in your, as throughout, I like that because then that brings out like counter argument, like if you are life and this heartbeat, like should you not euthanize those who are already living kind of life? Is that like that kind of argument you're coming?
It's like, I'm just saying this doesn't make sense. Every being that's a heartbeat is alive.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever doctors and professionals do it all the time.
I would,
In a different sense, but it's still.
I think that's definitely a good thing to put in there. I don't know how you would word that in, so definitely
Yeah,
maybe
no,
think
that's
about,
fine.
that's definitely one of the parts, like when you get to the outline, it might be a little bit easier, that could be like an attention grabber or something like that, hitting on that hypocrisy, because then it's like, hey,
Yeah, the main thing about this is like, I'm saying how it's hypocritical, I don't have to put my standpoint in here, so.
I like that you're keeping it third party, but just addressing the fact that it is hypocritical, you know what I mean, because that's already a pretty pressing issue, and very like, so, piece of statement, what you got? Okay, so this is definitely your like topic sentence. For it to be a thesis, you have to argue something. Okay, so what kind of measures are you thinking to decrease the amount of drunk driving? I'm gonna say, you can go driver's ed, talk about actually show them like the decrease the amount of drunk driving. So the issue with drunk driving, how do we put laws in place to like stop this with driving? Would you say you can go crazy with it, do a breathalyzer in each car? You know what I mean? Like if they go to like, you know, like if you're like an alcoholic and you get in a car accident with a DUI, you have to like blow into something breathalyzer. You could make that claim like it might be extreme, but like put these in place for those who have like a history or get arrested for a DUI. So instead of them just going like, oh, DUI, I'm off scot-free, I have to pay like a fine, blah, 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 blah. They still have to do that no matter what kind of DUI it is, so that it like negates the possibility of them getting back behind what you on the DUI. So like that's a way, I would really look up like ways to make like lessen drunk driving and have that, and then try and formulate a more like concrete piece of statement. So I would take that time and look that up. Do you have any like idea of what you want to talk about, like anything you're passionate about?
I have a couple. I said all schools should have auto shop, changing import laws for Asian cars. American car companies should like do more quality control.
That could be a really good one, because I will say the one before it, the importing one, it might not be so like worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's for like cars to come to the USA, because like there's a 25-year rule, and it has to be cars that be 25 years or older to be imported into the United States. So like it's
Would you get rid of like that rule and be like, why does it matter? It's a car. You know what I mean?
because it's our rule, it's not theirs.
Then if that's definitely, you could change it, be like, there's no reason for it. The issue I would have is like, what's the evidence behind that? To be like, why does that need to happen? You know what I mean? I think if you did something with the American Car Commission with body control, you can get a lot of that, because there's always recalls. You can maybe use examples of certain cars within like your speech, like say, Hyundai, they've had this time where because these were not met, X, Y, and Z happened, casualties happen. You know what I mean? Play into that way and be like, with stricter regulations, we can go away from this won't happen. You know what I mean? I think that might be a little bit easier to do. And then headphones should be allowed in school, change school and curriculum. This would have to be like, what would you do in place? Like, would you like have students come and talk to them and be like, hey, do you want like more of a collaborative thing, or are you just like, I don't like school?
No, I think that it's just like the way that kids are politics is a little different. It's not good, in my opinion.
No, you're so right. I'm gonna say, I will say that's not curriculum, that's pedagogy though. That's what I'm in college for it, but what can I say? I think doing the American cars with quality control, you're gonna get a lot more to say, and you can figure like less like grasping at straws.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
How's that?
And then how are you over here? What kind of topic are you thinking? I'm glad you were doing some work while I was getting to it. Good. I heard something about this, it's like every Friday is like, or every Sunday you can't go out hunting or something like that. Is that like kind of the same vibe?
Yeah, they're just starting to slowly have one days with like yesterday.
That's great, so you can do that. I know I talked, what are other aspects of like this that you wanna talk about? So you have population should be taken out with like deer, right? Like the deer population?
Yeah.
What else would be better for like more than one day off? I know in this area, rural Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
do you guys eat what you catch?
Yes.
You can add that, like, to help with food security,
Okay.
things like that. So maybe pinpoint it's more rural PA, or like something like that, or PA in general. That doesn't really matter. But you can bring in specifics, like, you know, I'm from rural Pennsylvania, my family, we hunt to eat, it's not just for sport.
Okay.
Or if it is, but please say it's for food. Get some more.
No, we do ours for food.
Alrighty, so if you guys could move to your next station, please. I'm gonna say, I'm not used to the
Really? I bet you it's chilly out there. Oh yeah.
The lights are reaching about 9 o'clock. Everything quit moving. We didn't even see a squirrel for 4 hours.
Really?
Yep. Totally right, and then went to that.
That's what you do. It's a good day. So happily birthday.
These are statements. Do you have them? Do you need to talk about them? We're don't worry, guys. We'll critique them and like I'll let you know if it makes sense or like maybe go somewhere else because that's what I have the hardest time with. So, what's your thesis lecture?
Okay, so my topic is that they're actually put in hospital for treatment and they can criminal reach the location of one it.
Smart.
So my thesis statement is drug addicts deserve the right to treatment in hospital by medical jail, access to drugs is cut off for the desired pregnancy, a non-violent crime. For a non-violent crime, jail time will end up not helping the individual gain long-term sobriety and then access to proper support to help the individual gain sobriety and sex service. Are you gonna like guard everything because there's like so much information?
No, I'm gonna say thesis statements can be literally a paragraph. Or for like data place, easier to keep it to like a sentence or two. So like, so here you have your statement, so that's good. This is you being like, this is why it's messed up and deserve to be, alright, so drugs get cut off. So they don't have the sense of therapy that they need to deal with those, so we can talk about that. Jail time will not end up helping them with this long-term sobriety. That you can talk about how there's definitely there's gotta be statistics or research on it, like already people who go to the prison system, when they come out, they're already labeled a felon or a prisoner, so they get stuck in that civil thing, they go back because that's all they're labeled as. So the fact that they get incarcerated and depending on like their crime, if they do get a crime, they like lose out on that. So like you can talk about that like really how like this disease of being an addict, becomes weaponized, so they go to like prison instead of rehab, so now they're not labeled as someone who needs help, they're labeled as a bad person. They're stuck in that cycle, and then they don't get that sober life that they need. And it can like affect other things. Because, God forbid, prisons are maybe not the most safe for people. Drug you're getting in. So you can maybe find something on that, like how even in like prisons, drugs can still get their way in. Maybe in rehab, but like there's no reason to be. So how are you on your thesis? That's fine. Thesis are just working. We're gonna have a lot of time with them. Okay, so do you want to be like, let's have allow music in classrooms during like independent time and things like that? We'll cater to that because that also kind of falls under like you guys have like curriculum and things with some music in class. I think you could totally go with that. Here's some things. I'm gonna have you start really looking at some research so that you can have some supporting things for like that statement you want to take on. Look up some things like effects on music on productivity. You could even like, I don't know, it depends on your research, but you know how like people, they play music for their baby in their womb? I think that's supposed to make them smarter, so you can be like, music has always been proven to help with brain productivity, because as when people are pregnant, it's prenatal, you're supposed to be listening to music, things like that. Counter argument, like, oh, if it's inappropriate, they shouldn't be listening to inappropriate music. You can edit out like some stupid, it could be classical, it's like lo-fi beats, you know what I mean? Like,
So you can't really.
yeah, it's the whole band looks kind of idea where it's like you can't say no to one. It's like you could bring it how like in classrooms the teacher picks the music that gets played, so it's like everyone has background noise. However, it's not something that's necessarily like, ooh, I'm gonna sing this out loud, you know what I mean? I think that could be really good, but you definitely wanna start looking in the positives of music along with it. Like, how does music help productivity? Really look into that and try and find research. Cause it can help with productivity, probably lessen stress, things like that, and memory. You know what I mean? Like, once you're listening to something, you comment, you're like, oh, wait, I remember doing this because of, yeah. I'm saying, so you have your reasons for your thesis state, you just need to get them down and get more research into them so that you can start formulating your speed. But that makes sense, that's a good argument. Would you argue this for like Central Columbia schools? I think would go to the board like, hey, like, can we have music in the regular ed classrooms? I think that could work really well. But no, that's definitely gonna be research-based, can't do much until then because that's very opinionated. But definitely add in your own personal, like, experience, like, you know, for me to be productive at home, I used to study, I listen to music, and it helps me. You know what I mean? So. Oh, it's on your own, okay. What is your thesis?
Probably explain genetics testing.
Getting rid of your mom?
Maybe change it.
Oh.
Maybe it's not perfect.
No, so trying to perfect the, I like that, I would say usually people go get rid of them fully. So, what are you gonna write to improve them? What are the issues that are wrong with internet testing now that you like kind of want to touch on?
I'm trying to do research.
Trying to do the research? Okay, I will definitely say, since you just want to approve it, like improve it, in your speech, bring up ideas on how to improve it. Do that, talk about how, like, yes, it's a flawed system, however, I don't think it needs to be taken away because it causes for that, like, baseline where, like, for the state or something. Definitely touch on that. Because that's probably gonna be a counter argument, like, why don't we just change it? Why don't we get rid of it? Why just perfect it? Do you have any of that research?
Yeah, a little.
You have a little bit? Fine. Do you have your thesis statement written fully out? Alright, well, I would just do some more research on that, and then you guys seem pretty good. I'm gonna go walk around a little bit. Call me if you need me, but definitely the research part is what's gonna really start with your thesis. Because once you have your idea down, once you start looking into it, jail time will end up not helping long-term sobriety, access to proper support. So this could be like, the prison system is a cyclical thing. Once you go in, when you come out, once you're labeled a felon, it's really difficult to get like back into society. Because one, like if you have a felony, you can't apply for student aid. So if you have an addiction problem in high school or something like that, if you want to go to college, but you have a felony for like drug use, you can't get any federal funding. So you're paying college out of pocket. So like that's like something you can bring in, like, you can't really relate it to yourself, but like you can be like, you know, drug addiction is starting younger and younger, we would find that it's affecting those who want to maybe go to school and make a little mistake, you know what I mean? Alright. Okay guys, 30 seconds, start finishing up your last couple thoughts. Alright guys, so move to your next station. Please, I'm doing you. Is this on? Does everyone here have their thesis statements? Like, not finalized, but they have something written down, they have kind of their points that they want to make? Yeah? Okay, so we're gonna go around and I'm pretty much just gonna check in on it, see if you're on the right track, give you some maybe ideas on where to go next. You don't need them, just humanly. So essentially that's what we're doing. So what is your thesis / topic?
So my topic is, for the junior versus senior driver's licenses.
Okay.
For example, it kind of gives a little background. So we can only have one non-family passenger in our car.
Mm-hmm. And it's like
And
11.
however siblings, like family you can have like that. So I have 4 siblings. I have to take all 4 siblings that are very distracting and very loud in my car. To have more than one friend in the car
Oh,
with me.
so it's that like whatever it's called, like the specifics where it's like, why is it like as many siblings, but my friends it has to be one, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it should be like modified or changed, that there should be like a separate section on your driver's test that, like you have somebody like loud and crazy in the back, and it shows like how, if you pay attention, like it should be changed so that you can have like more than one friend,
Okay.
cause you already have siblings.
You think there should be like maybe like tiers or like through like permit or something
Yes.
like that before you become like 18? It's like 18, right? Where you can do whatever.
After your first 6 months of turning 16, you can now have 3.
Only 3. Okay.
3 non-family members.
So maybe that's where you can definitely hit, like, if you do the 6 months, like, why don't you just let it be anything? Or like, why do these I think that's very smart, say like you need tighter, like, I don't say rules, regulations with that, but it can't be so pick or choosy, it has to, I think it needs to be.
Yeah.
So, I am excited, can I see that? I wanna say, where are you thinking of? So that's no problem. So junior versus senior.
I read an article about a 17-year-old that got their license a month before they turned 18. Then when they turned 18, they applied for their senior license and they got it, so they could just have their family people.
Yeah, well, you can bring that as like, there's an issue because there's this loophole for people, because I definitely told like my coworkers when I was younger, like in high school, like, if you just are feeling like halfway through 17, just wait till you're 18 to get your license, and then you don't have to worry about it, you can test right after, jump, take that, and you need to say do that.
I already have one.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna say definitely look into the statistics and hit on the point where it's like, what's the difference of a year or like 6 months? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who is this gonna be to? Like the drivers, people, U.S. Department of
I
Justice.
think it's like PA Bureau or drivers.
I'm gonna say maybe use their website to like find some information
Oh,
and be like, hey, according to your website, it says this. This should be different. I think that could go really well. Okay. Okay.
It's $10.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really different from transportation.
Okay. So what you got going on for your?
I was gonna do something for the weeks.
40 weeks? Okay, what are you doing stuff on that?
Benefits for school budgets, students get independent studies, and stress,
Yes.
and it will increase morale.
Okay, definitely, I think the first one you can hit on with great evidence, trying to find stuff. Who is this just gonna be Central Columbia, or is this gonna be all of, like, education in PA, federal,
I'm not quite sure.
not quite sure? Okay, I would say, once you start looking into that, maybe try and narrow it down, so that might make it easier, with like, I wanna say, behind, maybe say at Central Columbia, you know, like, students, maybe bringing yourself, like, I have this one you need to do, like, 4 days a week, where they alleviate stress or something, bring in mental health things, because there's definitely research on a 4-day work week, at least maybe not school, but you can bring in like, you know, it's the same kind of vibe as like the those things. You know what I mean? If not harder, because some high schoolers or whatever still have work and extracurriculars after school. I will say, counter argument is gonna be, what about younger kids who can't take care of themselves? What do you do about big parents, child parents? So think about that, because that's, someone else is doing that as well, but that's definitely a big factor that you might not think of as a teen yourself.
Okay.
But think of that counter argument of like, what do we do with the pre-K to 4 kids? That like if their parent has work still 5 days a week, is there anything put in place for them? I'm gonna say, because people could do childcare. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, you guys have the pre-K here, like, maybe something like that for those, like, the younger students, whatever. I'm gonna say. So, How are you? How is your topic? Your little, okay. So is this gonna be, are you gonna pick out specific books, possibly? Do you have ideas of what books you would do?
No, I thought it would research some books that are like, it's gonna be like sort of a wide field of research. It's not gonna include articles, most of this. There's probably be like the fish and Neptune circuit in schools and the area of the country.
Okay, I would say I think that's definitely important because that is like pretty controversial of a topic because a lot of people are getting into like banning more books now more than ever. I think you can look up possibly like what are the negatives of banning books and what does that entail? What does that possibly lead to, like a dystopian kind of future? Not to go like extreme with it, but you can definitely like if we start banning books, how are our students or people supposed to learn about our past or something like that, or around that way. So think about that, think about your audience. If you want to keep it going, you can. I know you can definitely bring in like articles that are like talking about like places that have already banned books, and you can bring in like ones that are like top like talks about like the banned books. And like this one's for example, I don't know which one's an example. I know you guys read the 11th grade the journal for Part-Time Indian. That was a banned book. You can talk about like these books are banned. There's no reason for them to be X, Y, and Z. Alright, you see what I'm gonna say maybe do some of that research now then for those books, like which ones are being banned, where are they being banned? Is it like everywhere? Is it maybe more like west, east, south, north, like those kind of things? But that's gonna be a heavy research base to try and like back that up. So, I'm like spreading the news like that.
I have the American school system should have kids learning languages.
Awesome. Are you thinking like a pre-K to 12 kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I would specify, you wanna be as specific as possible in your, thesis, just with like that kind of thing, like the criteria. Prepare kids for adulthood. Sorry, enhance their mental flexibility and will overall improve international communication, right? I think those are great. I think you can definitely go in on the benefits of learning a language young and like what it means to be bilingual. And like America's supposed to be this melting pot. You know what I mean? You don't have a natural language, so everyone should be able to learn anything or have this opportunity.
We're gonna keep working with that.
Do you guys do pre-K-12 for languages? Or no? Do you guys start taking the language? Oh no, I'm gonna say I know my like middle school started doing it like 6th grade when I graduated high school, and it's like 6 through 12. But I'm like, that's very important. Especially you can bring up like depending on where you go. There's like Spanish is like such a huge language in the country. And I don't speak Spanish because I was never prioritized to learn Spanish. So it's gonna be good. Is it gonna be, you said PA, the US?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure that's an act like a real audience. See if there's like a specific governance group of that. But other than that, like as long as you get your research for it, that's gonna be like a sound. I'm sorry, I'm just
Okay, I'm doing daylight savings.
Yes.
I always have a problem with that. This one, I'm kind of really rough about this one, about the thesis statement. The thesis statement. You said we didn't have to like work for it properly. So
Like how to write it.
write it, yeah.
Okay, that's no problem. I'll say I can help you out with that right now. Let me just look at it real quickly before I forget. So you're pro or against these daylight savings? Like, do you want to like not do it anymore, or is it like, what is your stance on daylight savings?
It's like, it's shortening the day, like especially when it comes to the afternoon, like as soon as you, like example, as soon as I come home, I'm already start doing homework, it's already so dark.
Yeah, okay, so you're definitely like, let's get rid of it, there's no, like, you're like, I'd rather have longer day after, like, work than wake up to sun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna be against, Mr. Gona, can I like screen share I'm gonna hit that real quick. Alright, so you could definitely start as saying like, feel like saving is not, it like affects mental health or something, like what are your?
Oh, I didn't have that, I just have it over here. I just said like in lessons a day, you have no like, I would talk about like after activities or something. You could do like maybe some stuff like.
So sorry, just give me. Okay, so I guess that's not gonna, there you go, one minute, I only said it right now. So guys, just before we all leave, because the period is wrapping up, if you guys could just scan this exit ticket, it's gonna take you to a Padlet where you're just gonna answer a little question. Make sure to put your names on your Padlet just so I can see who's answering what. So. Okay, so I would say those kind of things maybe are like they affect mental health because of seasonal depression kind of vibe. Because I think that's definitely what you're kind of getting at. Like you want more time. You start doing something and you're like, man, like I'm exhausted. Like it's nighttime now. Like I'm thinking of bed. I think. Have you looked up reasons like to be like daylight savings? Like have you seen like those discussions that people have already had over that? Because if you looked up, you might know how to like word it better, you know what I mean? Because I totally get what you mean. Like it's a little wordy being like, oh, they have to like change the clocks back and forth. Because it's definitely an inconvenience. You can do that. But I would look for more like evidence of how it affects people. Like instead of it just being an annoyance, I feel like daylight savings, we wake up, it gets darker earlier, that affects, not only is it already cold, it being darker earlier affects seasonal depression in people. I would look up more the effects of getting rid of daylight savings on people, maybe like that way, because we have something good there, but I'm not sure how to like formulate that into a speech or essay. Yes? Your iPad. Oh.